Hey everybody, my name is Eric.
My name is Tacondra.
And welcome to our channel.
So in today's episode, we want to talk about the benefits and the pitfalls of separation in marriage. And when we say separation, we're talking about those of you who have unconventional marriages. What are some of the benefits and what are some of the pitfalls? If you want to learn more, stay tuned. Being in a long distance relationship, whether you're just a couple or if you're married, can be hard for most people. But we're living proof that it can also be successful.
Absolutely. You know, we're a military couple. I'm a 17-year Army veteran. And the first part of our marriage, I'd say the first 6 or 7 years, we spent more time apart than we did together.
Absolutely. It was not easy.
No.
So one of the questions that we get the most is, how do you cope with separation? What are some of the benefits of being separated and what are some of the pitfalls? We've been married for 16 years now, and we've been together for over 24 years. But as my husband stated, those first 8 years of our marriage, we definitely spent more time apart than we did together because he was sent off to war 3 times. The first 10 years of our marriage, he was gone, trainings, all kinds of things came up. And then when we got out of the military, and he still has this job now, he travels 75% of the time. So there are, times arise when he has to go and he's gone for months at a time. And it kind of just reminds me of him leaving, going to war. So let's talk about what are some of the things that we've done to help us be successful. And then let's talk about some of those pitfalls that we have experienced. I want to start with the bad. Okay.
Let's get the bad out of the way.
Let's go ahead and just get the bad.
Obviously, we're still here.
Okay.
But there's enough of it.
Okay. So what would you say is the number one pitfall of being separated in long distance relationships?
I would have to say it's got to be accountability. Like when you're alone, you really don't have someone there to, I don't want to say watch you, but like it's tested the most when you're separated, like your relationships, because distractions come, people that you didn't think would show up in your life shows up. And it's usually because there's a void there. And if you don't know how to handle that void or that situation, you will definitely fall into that ditch.
It's a trap. Okay, it's a trap.
It's always a trap.
It's always a trap. And so let me just paint it clear. What he's talking about is temptation.
Yeah.
We say accountability. What it really is the enemy comes in to tempt you, especially when you're married. Whether it's with a person, whether it's an old habit that you've been trying to kick, he's always going to come and test you somehow. And I think what most people end up doing is when you fall into this trap, it reveals more about you.
Yeah.
One of the things I personally think it reveals is lack of self-control. It can reveal a lack or a character issue.
Right.
And it can also reveal an insecurity issue. And when I say insecurity, it's just personal insecurities within yourself. Right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think number one on my list is selfishness. Like most of the time we make bad decisions because it's about self.
Yeah.
Right? It's, okay, how can I be pleased or how can I get what I want in this moment? And it's really just a selfish act that we fall into. So
temptations is definitely a number one pitfall when you're separated from your spouse for some time, or you're in a long distance relationship. And the ways to combat that, what would you say?
Got to communicate. There can't be long periods of silence. Like you have to keep constant communication. Thank God for technology. Most of our calls are video calls. So if you're really struggling with that, like use your FaceTime. Right.
And just intentionality. I would add to that. Like he said, FaceTime, video call, whatever the case may be, especially when you're in 2 different time zones. So when he's on one side of the world and I'm here in the States, we have to be intentional about our communication. And that can be difficult when he's up while I'm sleeping and I'm up while he's trying to go to sleep. So being intentional about getting that time in is definitely key. Right. So the number 2 pitfall of being in a long distance relationship, especially in a marriage where you're separated, would be managing finances. We'll let you talk a little bit more about that.
Managing finances when you're separated is so important because you have two people separated for a period of time and they both have needs. They both have financial needs. And being in the military, of course, my food and things like that was always taken care of. But my other little necessities like snacks and wanting to buy different things when Amazon became hot, you started ordering all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And not really paying attention to the general pot of money, because you are making extra money in most cases. So
in the military.
Right, in the military. And if you're not communicating, if you're not both on the same page financially, you could set yourself up for failure so many times in so many ways. And so for us, we've always tried to find different ways to, allocate money by opening multiple accounts, temporary accounts, because I've always been a firm believer we're in this marriage together, so we're going to put all our money in the same pot. Mm-hmm. I saw so many relationships, so many soldiers struggle in this area where we made all that extra money and then we get back home and they got to go get loans because money was spent that they had no idea, money was being moved and all of those type of things. And so, you have to be open and you have to have a plan financially, to avoid this pitfall because money breaks up so many marriages. It's probably one of the top
reasons for
divorce.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And one of the ways I believe, like you said, we cope is by putting money in a temporary, and I don't even call it temporary. Like we have accounts where we both have access to them, right. But he can still put money for his needs in that account, and that's money that he has. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to worry about, him pulling away from, for home. I know for me, because I like to manage stuff. And for a lot of married people, some of the responsibility of managing the finances does fall on the wife. And I don't see anything wrong with it. Just a matter of preference. But in our case, being in the military, it kind of landed on my shoulders because he was always gone, right? Yeah. In and out. And so I've kind of just taken on that responsibility. And it works for us. Now there are days when I'm just like, you do it. Right. I don't want nothing to do with this.
Days, no, it's months.
Years. Okay. Like I'm over this. But we always have that plan in place when he is traveling, with his job is okay. Because I know my husband, he'll sacrifice. He's the type of person, he'll go without so that we can have. Mm-hmm. But we always make sure, no, he does. Like, seriously, he'll eat Vienna sausages and crackers if he has to so that we can chomp on, Chick-fil-A over here. And I don't know, whatever. He'll sacrifice. So, like I said, having that plan in place, having that, allocating that money so that he has what he needs to manage his home where he is, his temporary home, while we're managing the home here on the home front. That's always worked for us. So that's just our advice coming from a military perspective. Right. We know there are tons of other circumstances and situations out there, especially with people being in long distance relationships, and they've discovered what works for them. So most important thing to do is to discover what works for you.
And I think, having that military experience has really helped us now because like you said before, when I transitioned from the Army, I went right into government contracting where I travel. And I'm constantly on the road, whether it be in the States or overseas. And, those same practices that we had in the military, we were able to just fall right into it, now. And
and at some point, honestly, my desire, I say my desire, but I know it's both of our desires, but our desire is for him not to have to travel.
Absolutely.
But until God releases him from that, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to do what you got to do. Absolutely. So those, I would say, are the main 2 pitfalls. Of course, there are so many more, but let's talk about the benefits. I want to start this one. Uh-oh. Okay. So I would say one of the benefits of being separated is that you get to miss your spouse.
Girl, that was number one on my list.
It
too.
wasn't. Yeah. I remember when you first, maybe it was your second deployment, and I wrote a poem, and it was called My Soldier. And in the poem, I talked about how I miss him more when he's abroad because his flaws aren't magnified in my face every day. I see him for who he truly is and what value he truly adds to my life. Now that I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember how the poem goes.
Right.
It's somewhere I have to go dig it up. But I remember writing that poem, and every time you leave, my memory goes back to that poem, and I realize just how much I miss him, just how much I need him, and how much I enjoy having him around when he's here. And it makes me appreciate having you home when you are home. My husband is the comedian. He's the jokester. He's the one that brings laughter into our home. Now, Maya, our daughter, she has that, that jokester personality and everything too, but she can be very serious and just kind of kept herself like me. So my husband is the one that, when he's gone, we looking at each other like, me and my daughter, we like,
right. So what are we supposed to do?
Hey, you want to? Nope. We both go in our room. It's like, but when he's here, whether it's something crazy, off the wall, whatever the case may be, he just brings that lightness, that joy, and that laughter into the home. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you are that spouse that brings the laughter and that extra joy into the home. And maybe you're that spouse who is like, man, I know I'm boring, and I hate it when he goes because I'm like, I enjoy my me time, my solitude, but I miss him when he's gone. And I'm like, God, ain't nobody here to aggravate me.
Right.
Ain't nobody here to make me laugh.
Ain't nobody here for her to yell.
I'm just kidding. I'll be yelling at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my first benefit.
Man, the anticipation that I get and the expectation that I get when I'm gone for a long period of time is coming home. Like I have something to look forward to because I don't want to be around nobody. I work around a whole lot of males, okay? And so female interaction is what I need, okay, all the time. And so I don't want to do it with nobody else but you, okay? And so, yeah, missing you it sucks, but it's also, very important because, I've been missing it.
Next.
Anyway.
Okay, so the number 2 benefit of being separated, I would say, is you get to discover more about yourself. You get to evolve and grow if you choose to do so. Some people don't take advantage of the opportunity to explore new hobbies, to get to know, themselves on a deeper level, what they like, what they love to do outside of their spouse. Some people, I can be codependent a little bit, but not in a toxic or unhealthy way. Like I'm the type of person who I really love doing stuff with my husband. Like I'm like the type of person I get excited about going to the grocery store with my husband. I'm like, they come home so we can go to the grocery store. And he's like, I'm just that type of person. I love to need him. That don't make me needy, like an unhealthy needy, but I love to need him and I love to do things with him. But there are some people who just don't know what to do. Like they have no life when their spouse isn't around. And I'm not that type of person.
Right.
I get sad when he leaves. Give me a few days and then I'm up and I'm like, okay, what can I do to pass the time by? And for me, that looks like, here in the last few years, I would say that looks like writing. Of course, I love to write. I'm an author. So I love to use that time and opportunity to work on projects that I've kind of put on the back shelf. I enjoy friends, those that are local, especially those that are local, because I don't spend a lot of time with my friends. I spend a lot of time in my home. Like I'm that type of person. My home is my first ministry and my priority. And I'll put anything on pause to get my home right. So I take advantage of that time and give more of myself to my friends, whether they're local, or it's like their distance, and
Yeah.
it's being on the phone with them, or texting. I find ways to distribute my love in other places.
Right.
Since I don't have him right beside me, I don't have to, worry about cooking him dinner. Oh my God, that's benefit. Okay, I ain't gotta cook every day. I mean, I don't be cooking every day now, but
early on,
yeah, I've kind of shifted. I think cooking every day is overrated. The older your children get,
look, the older you get, I think
the older
the less
you get.
you eat.
Yeah, like I'm ready to hire a chef. Okay,
Right.
at this point in my life.
Come on.
Right, I discovered that. Okay.
Anybody want to do it for free? No.
Okay. So yeah, what would be some of your benefits?
One of the benefits for me is, one, obviously the awareness and the appreciation for you and what you bring to the table as far as our relationship. But for myself, it's self-discovery. It's, a time to concentrate on my body a little bit, to work out without the distractions.
He do be trying to get all fit though. I be like, then he come home and want to eat everything up.
Hey. And
I gain weight because he gained weight.
It is what it is. So yeah, just those things.
Happy couples. Fat couples. I'm just saying.
Fat and flourishing.
We get fat and flourishing over here, okay?
Yeah.
So I think one of the pitfalls is not taking advantage of self-discovery and being stuck. Like choosing to not take advantage of the time to better yourself or to grow and evolve in a better direction that's beneficial for both you and your spouse. So definitely take advantage of the opportunity to discover more about yourself, what you like, discover some of your flaws, discover what you're not doing or what you could do better. What do you want to change about yourself? Because it's not always about trying to change your spouse.
Right.
Find out what is it about me that I can change? How can I go back or come back to my spouse a better husband or a better wife? What can I do, to take our relationship to another level? So those were our top 2 benefits and pitfalls of dealing with separation in marriage when you have to be separated. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again next time.